call this meeting to order. You want to rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Oh, wait, yeah, there is.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Would you do the roll call, please?
Ms. Neal, Aldrich.
Here.
Beckman.
Here.
Fox.
Yes.
Verplank.
Here.
Cullen.
Here.
And Norton.
Here. All right, could you please turn off your cell phones and please do not text during the meetings as it's against the Open Meetings Act. And could we have an approval of the agenda? Greg, do you want to do the change?
Yes, Madam Chair, I suggest that we put request for payment all financial reports ahead of our special guest so Peter can vacate.
We have one of Santa's else's,
So request to put 9 under 5.
So,
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve 9 requests for payment under 5 approval of the agenda.
all right, do I have a second?
I'll support.
Okay, a motion by Pullen and support by Beckman. All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Okay, so Peter, could we have a financial? Well, let's do accounts payable first. I don't know who's gonna do this, Scott.
Where's he hiding in Florida?
Yes, he is.
A big one.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve of these. Wait a minute, I don't know, I take it back. I just find out how much it is.
Eric, you got it?
I'll make a motion to approve the bill 189,232 and 36 cents.
I'll second that.
Okay. I have a motion by Beckman, second by Pullen, to approve the bills in the amount of $189,232.36. Is there any discussion?
My only quick question is, there's some large payroll, is this like the end of the year? Yeah, good question. When the PTO, a certain amount of PTO can't be rolled over, so there were payouts for that. In the employment situation, employee situation, incurred some additional wages because that person was laid off or put on hold. So the officers get something else too? No. No? Okay. No, they get their annual stipend monthly, so. Okay. We can change that. Thank you. Thank you.
Anybody else? Any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor, please. Oh, I know, we need a roll call.
Beckman.
Yes.
Cullen.
Yes.
Aldrich.
Yes.
Fox.
Yes.
Verplank.
Yes.
And Norton.
Yes.
That's 6-0.
Okay. Now, I need a motion to go into closed session.
I want to give a
The financial report, I'm sorry. Ooh.
So then, I don't know, the holes are punched through the page, so I don't know.
you don't know what yours
8B. This is the top right. So the revenues, property tax bills were mailed out 1st of December, everybody should have those. The revenues that fund the majority of the department are starting to come in from the different entities. And then you get farther down, inspection and plan review fees were well over what was originally budgeted. So is cost recovery and donations / grants, and interest is up. So revenue side, we'll have most everything collected here by the end of February. The expense side, I think the only thing that's really over there, out of sequence, right, is the cost on the special events. That's over budget right now, so that's going to have to get adjusted at some point. The other one that's over is, it's always, but I don't know if we're getting any kind of refund, is all the insurance costs. That's on the second page. General insurance, we're $3,000 over, but I don't know if we have any kind of, usually they give us a dividend check, and I don't think I've seen that, or give you any kind of correspondence before we make an adjustment there, so. But otherwise, I think we're in decent shape.
I think they were delayed, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I think they were delayed with the state net asset refund.
Yeah.
Which should be in the $2,000 mark.
Okay. So
There were some clerical or auditing errors.
I don't know if anybody has any questions on any particular line items, or...
Questions? I think we're done.
Peter?
Okay.
Go play basketball.
Well, I'm going to the bank to stand in line. Remember we had to take checks there, and they used to proof them in the back room, and somebody at third, well, now you have to stand there while you do it. And everybody needs handwriting lessons today.
That's true.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Steve.
Moving on.
Thanks, Steve.
Could I have a motion to go into closed session, please? Do we have a motion in here?
Okay, I'll make a motion to go into closed session to consider a written legal opinion of the fire district attorney pursuant to MCL 15.268 1H, being section 8 1H of the Open Meetings Act.
Second.
We have a motion to go into closed session by Cohen, a second by Fox. I think, is this a roll call vote? Or-
Yes, this is
Yeah,
recorded.
I'll do roll call.
Okay, do we have a roll call vote, please?
Ma'am, Pullen,
Yes.
Fox,
Yes.
Aldrich,
Yeah.
Beckman,
Yes.
Verplank,
Yes.
and North.
Yes. All right. Okay, we're back in open session. I'll take a motion from the floor about what we discussed in closed session, and,
What do you want for the motion?
why don't you make a motion, Mary?
Eric.
Okay. I move that the fire board approve and ratify the agreement as discussed in closed session at tonight's meeting, and I move that the fire board authorize the fire chief to execute that agreement on behalf of the fire district.
I'll second that.
We have a motion by Beckman and a second by Cohen. We have a roll call vote, please.
Yes, ma'am. Beckman,
Yes.
Pullen,
Yes.
Aldrich,
Yes.
Fox,
Yes.
Verplank,
Yes.
and North.
Yes.
And I have a copy of the motion.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, back to work.
Bye, Andy, thank you.
Thank you, Andy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Thank you. Nice meeting you.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're,
7.
Approval of minutes now.
yeah, okay. Could we have an approval of the minutes?
Move to approve the minutes of November 20th, 2023.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Okay, all those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, public comment. I want to make a comment first to the public. We have in our midst tonight a new mayor of Douglas. And we would like to congratulate her on her appointment as mayor.
Congratulations.
I think it's a
hat, it's a sash,
or the hat.
You're not wearing our sympathy, too?
No, no hat.
And you just have no idea. I'm sure. I know. And then we also have Logan White, who is a new council member from Saugatuck in our midst tonight. And we don't get visitors very often.
Thank you
We
for
don't-
coming.
Thank you.
We don't even know how to behave.
And we don't.
Okay, is there any public comment out there on agenda items only? I guess not. All right, moving on. We did the payments, we're at fire chief's comments.
All right, good evening, everyone. I will keep this brief. We are down in calls as from December compared to November, and you can see a decrease in calls. However, like this morning, we did 7 calls by 1 o'clock in the afternoon. We averaged 3 calls a day, but by 1 o'clock in the afternoon, it was 7 calls.
Due to ice?
It's all weather. The weight of the snow takes lines down and trees down. So that's what you can see as far as the statistics, and everything else is pretty much true to what we usually do. There is nothing that stands out. Little decline in November. Essentially, that's what you have. So moving on, if there's no questions on that, the Department of Fire Prevention, that, what we have is a lot of hours on page 11 of your packet, on page 11 of 21, fire prevention educational hours. Trumps everything that we do, and that's a good thing. That's what we want. We're in the schools twice a month, 3 to 4 of us with addresses and special lessons. Last week was fire, ice safety. So, great program. Chris Bernardi and Chris Manuels developed a new PowerPoint for ice safety that was absolutely fantastic. So,
Is that
really
just
proud
the
of you guys.
elementary?
Good job.
The high school or just the elementary?
We go to the elementary. Yep, pre-K through 5th grade.
While they still listen.
So, yeah.
Before they know everything.
Next up, Michigan fire statistics for the state of Michigan. A 1% increase in deaths. We're at 111 deaths. We hate to see any of that. Fires, 11% increase year to date. So that's where we're at on that. And that leads us, cost recovery. Eric is not well. He has COVID, so cost recovery update was not completed. So I'll get that to you next month. Grant awards, I'm happy to share with you that we received our money for a stair chair. That's a chair to handle people up and down the stairs. We got a 50% grant for that. And then new, updated, more technologically advanced dash cams. We got a grant for that in the tune of $5,000, so we're really happy about that. The hiring process, as you know, is underway. We had agility testing and written testing and pump testing December 2nd. Chris has some great photos. The agility test included 9 stations. We used the Live Fire Training Center for that. A lot of different, this is a forcible entry tool that we have. So there were 9 different acts that they had to do, which follows the standard NFPA. And it went well. There's a rescue drag, that's called a Rescue Randy, only a 175-pound person. Then that is the pump testing that you see up on the screen. We hired a pump tester specifically for that. It was just outstanding. I had every officer here as instructors. So next will be the oral interview, not scheduled yet, but on the horizon very soon. That concludes my chief
How many people were in that?
There were 10.
10, okay.
Yep. There were 10.
And so these are potential employees
Yes.
and then going through the
Yes.
test and...
It was the first round.
Okay.
Typically, we've only done an oral interview. We wanted more rigid filtration process where they have to know how to run a truck.
Uh-huh.
They had to score respectively on the written test, and the agility test was timed.
Great.
So they could be weak in some areas,
Mhm.
compensate in other areas. So it was a point system, and it was exceptional.
I was here that day for part of that, just to watch it, and it was very impressive. And, I mean, from all the time, zero lollygagging, goofing around, any of the kind of stuff that you would say. It was really going, everybody was doing what they were supposed to be doing and was 100% into it. It was very impressive, seriously.
Thank you, Ted. That
All
concludes the
right.
chief comments.
Okay, thank you. Let's see, there's no unfinished business. New business, funding approval for 2120 traffic management apparatus.
So this has been brought to you months ago. We were at a point now where my recommendation is to consider approval to order this truck. It is, every year it's going up. It's been 2 years I've been working on this. Our time on the roadways are very extensive. Our mutual aid departments can't help us because they're each buying new engines. So all their money is dedicated to that. Been working pretty diligent on this. I have a commitment, verbal commitment. I was actually in writing for an $85,000 grant from the George Supp estate. And then Bill Hess and Mike Madden have committed another $5,000. So that gets you to almost half of the truck expense. So it'll take quite a bit of time to have this built, and just to recapture, Chris, if you could just show the YouTube video which shows what this does.
TMA trucks are designed to protect road workers and drivers in work zones all across the world. Every year, hundreds of TMAs are hit in work zones, protecting the lives of road workers and distracted drivers.
A couple of questions. After an impact like that, is that usable again? I mean, does it require a lot of...
That actual attenuator part would have to be replaced. The truck should be okay.
Would
With the
insurance
attenuator.
cover that, I would assume? I mean, that's what it's designed for, it seems like.
You know, I'll find out. I'll find
Yeah,
out.
I guess the other question is, what are those actuaries, or whatever they're called, cost? I mean, if insurance doesn't cover it,
What's that part?
I mean,
This Scorpion match is right around 15,000, for the folding one that's pictured in the truck.
that may be a cost recovery thing.
Say they cost a lot less than another truck.
Oh, yeah.
Well, right now,
Or
when one of those
somebody's right.
tankers
Yeah.
goes, we're on borrowed time. Like, they will not replace those.
Where would you store this?
That's what I was just thinking.
We've got to ship things around, it's got to be inside. What we did is we took one of the brush trucks and sent it over to Hamilton, so we'd probably take another brush truck and send it somewhere else. We don't use it, and then in the summer, they would sit outside the brush truck. But that truck would be inside.
And then, we did budget for this, partially for this year, right? It
Right,
looks like
well,
it's coming down
we
to
would
the
do a budget amendment for this year to, like in June, if we have the extra funds, which I predict we will, is we would take 50,000 out of 2023, and then the next year, because this will not be built until the following budget year. And I'm also gonna reach out to MDOT and some others to try to get more funding, but I can't promise that, but I'm gonna try.
I'm wondering about grants even from insurance companies, like, I mean, State Farm around Chicago, they branded their emergency trucks for help on the roadside. State Farm is the advertiser on the side of those, so they invested something to get that. I mean, maybe insurance companies would be motivated to...
Well, we're hoping our insurance company, we've already approached them. They have not done a project like this. It's not within the scope. What they do is they'll do the aero board, they'll do it. What they like is if you are mutual aid with another department, then that incentivizes them. It just makes them want to take that project and support it. Well, they insure the sheriff, and the sheriff is probably one of the biggest dispatches of Saugatuck Fire to go out on the highway. It'd be a property damage, and then we go out there. So that's why Under Sheriff Larson wrote the support letter for this, because the small deputies' cars aren't going to survive any of this. And this vehicle, the attenuator truck, TMA, would be placed all the way upstream. In other words, it would be the first sacrificial vehicle to get hit. So I have never seen the insurance company not cover something that was built on here, but I'll confirm it. Everything we've added on, the trucks weren't built with aero boards and they've covered them. So my inclination is they'll cover it because it's built that way. But we've even added equipment on. I don't see that as a problem.
So if we had this, I'm just playing devil's advocate, if we had this, are we gonna get called to more calls because we have this? And then do we need more personnel to?
No, what this would replace is one of the tankers. So we'll typically run 2 tankers and an engine to a scene, because they're spaced out in safety zones. So this would be the first in line, then there would be a tanker right behind the crew working the scene. Then an engine's gonna be there. So one of the tankers would stay here. So we would be taking one of the tankers off. So no, we mutual aid with M40 for Hamilton when needed, and then we'll go north and we go south, because we overlap mile markers. Because somebody says we're at mile marker 41, our boundary, and they might be south of 41, or north of it at 42. So the policies cover that from Ganges to Graska. We don't get called out to Holland, we've been called to South Haven. So our coverage area would not be, we're not gonna be going all over the county. We have that with the drone.
But we don't just own the drone.
Correct. But we would just own this. Correct.
But they would all be part of mutual aid, right?
Correct. Right. We only go to, when Hamilton has to shut down M40, then we're called to bring in MDOT truck, which this department didn't, MDOT trailer, which this department didn't pay for at all. And we share that as a care and custody from MDOT. But we usually have to take a tanker over there with an aero board. Sometimes it's just a trailer. It depends on the severity of the incident.
How many of these are in the area? How many?
They usually use dump trucks with a trailer, or they put one on there, on the back, an attenuator on the back of a dump truck. Plainfield, Zeeland Charter Township has a dump truck. They just showed it to me today.
Granville has a truck similar to this, but without the cone pockets. Wyoming Fire has a dump truck, and Grand Rapids has a dump truck with a trailer. Modern attenuator.
One of the differences with this vehicle is we do a pretty in-depth cone delineation deployment. And one of the reasons that we wanted this truck was because the driver is inside the cage. He's in the frame of the truck. The way we do it now is we walk with a dolly along the roadway, 2 to 4 people. So there's an element of protection with a framed truck around this person. That was probably more important than anything.
Could it be used for anything else?
Yeah, you know.
Block off parade routes, since they
Yeah.
parade.
But it could be used to haul, like, there are times we have a lot of fire hose that's wet and dirty. We have to throw it in the back of a truck, and sometimes there's so much, it could go in there.
All right, a stupid question. Exactly what is this being used for?
Traffic incident management.
That's what I thought, okay.
Traffic incident management.
Do we have to be, like, cautious? We're talking about doing the transport and things like that. I mean, are we gonna run out of room to, you know, if we do get an ambulance type thing or whatever?
So, certainly apparatus-wise, this puts us full. So, the premise is if we do decide to go to BLS, your 2 Ford Expeditions, at least one would go, and you would replace that with a transport type vehicle.
Okay.
So that wouldn't be a problem. But yeah, we're getting, and we just can't, you know, grow anymore here.
But
Well,
what,
we're kind of still looking at something
Yes,
on the south side,
this was
right?
prioritized before we even talked about the BLS. And because of the volume of traffic motor vehicle incidents, my recommendation is this would trump
Oh, okay.
ambulance.
what's wrong with us getting an old dump truck and putting that on the back of it? I mean, those must not be brand-new dump trucks that are sitting with apparatus.
No, I even reached out to the one next door, but that needs so much work. For example, Chris was notified of a used one, so we looked at that. So it was a 2019. As you see, this one's 201 with a contingency up to 211, right? So we had one with over 100,000 miles on it. 2019, they wanted $150,000 for it. So for $50,000 plus more, you get a brand new one.
And how much does this cost with a big bow tied around it?
So the total cost is not, it's $201,000. We have a 5% contingency of $10,000. So you're looking at $211,336. You've got $90,000 that you can consider to put down on it, and then in the 2023-24 fiscal year, you would take $55,000 out of the cap plan, and then next year $55,000 out of the cap
As
plan.
well as grant applications.
Correct.
To be a devil's advocate, it sure seems like it's like used for one thing. I mean, it's too bad we can't get those Scorpion, what are they called in the back?
The attenuator.
Attenuator, and put them on one of our current trucks that is used for something else. Multiple use vehicle.
Right.
Yeah, and that's a good thought. With a DPW, a Department of Public Works, would be easier. For example, none of our apparatus you could work off of that, because they dump water off the back end.
Okay.
So you wouldn't be able to do it. You have to eliminate the rear end chutes and dump water off the side. Now, there are trailers that can be pulled. Here's the issue with the trailers. Twofold. Number one, trailers aren't rated for 70 miles per hour. I don't see the value in that. Number two, you gotta back this truck up. We don't have a fifth wheel trailer. It makes it harder to back up a trailer that's bumper mounted. That's not easy for a lot of people. So backing up gets to be a challenge. So that's why we keep circling back to this type of a vehicle. And because of the volume of traffic incident management, that's why I brought it to you saying, you know, I don't see any way around this. Again, you know, we're not city run. You know, a lot of these departments, the city just gives them a dump truck. Okay? And even if we got this one for $5,000 or $6,000, well, it was $10,000, and then they wanted, it was well over that to get the emissions fixed. Plus, it was a salt truck. So that's why it's being replaced.
I think a telling part of this is that the community's already voted $90,000 to do this, of their money, not our money.
It was 2 donations. I don't like buying a piece of equipment that does one thing, and maybe, I mean, it's like the old helicopter thing. Gee, it'd be great to have a helicopter, but you'd use it twice. Or, you know, I'm just kind of stuck on this one. And, you know, there's been all of the ambulance talk, and there's been a lot of truck carried around talks that are, I'm thinking the community would think an ambulance would be more important than, I'm not saying that it is, but there's always that public perception, and I'm a little concerned about this piece of equipment, and, you know, where to put it.
Okay, we take it on the job. I'm still confused as to what we're gonna do with it.
You pick up cones with it, basically.
Basically,
No,
it's a
no, no,
blocker.
it's not picking, it's not picking.
You're protecting life as they're working on something.
It's blocking,
Yeah, it's a blocking
blocking the people working the scene of an accident.
Right.
Okay.
We can be out there 80 times in 1 year.
And the chief has been pretty consistent in saying, I remember hearing this early on when
Right.
sitting here,
Yeah.
that that's the most dangerous assignment they get.
Yeah.
Well, I have $3 million worth of equipment on fires, and I have maybe $60,000 in traffic incident management, and my risks are higher out on the roadway. Make no mistake.
You know,
That's
I'm
why,
not,
But there's
I'm not
nothing
trying to
else
be.
that-
No.
I'm trying,
No.
I'm trying to,
you know, if the board thinks so, we'll rethink this. I mean, you know, see, it also has to do with weight. One of the things you have to do is you have to have the right vehicle for weight, because when it gets hit, it moves. That's why dump trucks are great. Well, I don't have a city giving me a dump truck.
they might. They
You know,
can't see
I don't want a
much
piece of
it.
junk that I gotta take care of. You know, this board long ago said,
Especially-
stop buying used.
Especially spreading salt.
Right,
You're gonna have
right.
problems.
So this was a special purpose designed truck, and since we were on the roadways so much, that's why I wanted to bring it to the board's attention. If you're not ready for it, I completely respect that. You know, what I can do is work. Here's the thing, last year that truck was $167,000. I guarantee you, it's gonna be another $25,000 to $30,000 next year. That's okay,
What are we using now?
tankers.
The tankers sit out there.
The tankers. Again, the tanker is not going to, it doesn't have that collapse mechanism, the attenuator. Also, if the tanker gets rear-ended, it may be totaled. I'll be coming to you for $700,000. You're gonna get $100,000 from the insurance company,
That's all?
right? Because it's over 15 years old. So there's a strategy in this. I'm not, you don't have to do this. I'm just bringing it to you where I've been circling around on this for 2 years and going,
Well, maybe, just to follow you, next
Yeah.
meeting you could bring us 2 or 3 options, and, you know, the pros and cons of both of them, all of them, 1 or 2, whichever.
Greg, the other thing is, you know, we've learned some stuff with the ambulance study about maybe not costing us as much as we, I don't wanna go too far into it,
right,
but it may be something that, if that comes to light, it'd be a lot easier to pay for this thing.
Yeah, I think.
You know what I'm saying?
oh,
I
yeah,
agree.
gotcha. Well, yeah, I mean, certainly if the board isn't ready for that, I highly respect that, that's no problem. I don't have, the problem is I can give you some used options, and they're not gonna be here the next time you meet. That's just gonna be a waste of your time and a waste of my time. I can't, this stuff is, they'll order 25 cabin chassis and you're in line for this. That's why I'm here tonight. I can't go to a lot and buy one. These are all made to order. So looking at this, going, this is something that you have to order and stay in the line to get. Well, a used one, they're not gonna hold. But we can look, you know, and see if there is something that's newer, that might be cheaper, and advise the board and do that way, go that way.
1 or 2 other options, and the pros and cons of both of them, too. You can just say, this is your other options, and why it would be good and why it wouldn't be good.
What if we table this and think about it for a moment? I
That's-
just like.
That is absolutely no problem.
How much is just the attenuator?
Well, you can get an attenuator trailer for probably less than $20,000. The attenuator, as Chris said, is $15,000, but then you gotta mount it,
Yeah.
because that flips down,
Uh-huh.
okay? It shortens the length of the truck.
Okay.
When it goes down, it's electric hydraulic, like our signs go up.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a purpose truck where, that would be all filled with barrels and cones, conceivably 500 cones. Again, you could be on either side, and you're sitting there and you put them, so it's not just a blocker, it's to deploy stuff. But if you're not ready for it, we'll come back. and I'll try to find something used, but, you know, it might be there and it may not be.
All right, sure, I'm not ready, I just would like to see one or two other options is all.
Well, I've looked at other options,
Okay.
and this is my but I have no problem with that.
Okay.
Again, some of these departments, that's a disadvantage of being a fire district. You know, we can't get, you know, we can't get stuff from the cities.
Well, and then I get that, but, you know, I'm also a little concerned about the fact that this will go everywhere for everybody at our expense.
That is mutual aid.
Yeah, but
We're-
we've worked with other departments and we bought things with other departments,
Right.
and that,
Hmm.
this seems like we just bought a truck too. I mean, for them to say, well, we're buying a truck so we can't help you, we just bought a truck. So,
They're not gonna help. I've been through this for 2 years. Okay.
Yeah,
They're not gonna help.
I don't know, I guess it's
Yeah.
whatever you
Let's
guys
table,
want.
why don't you just table?
I'd like to see a couple more options with this one, at the next
I mean,
meeting.
I'll
You
take a
know,
motion.
one positive side is, you know, something like this would probably be the safest department in the area to work for.
Well, we do the most calls. Other than
It
on
might
CEDO.
attract people to
That's what I'm
work here
saying.
as well, you know, if they
Yeah.
feel like
Well, that's fine.
their safety is a thing
Yeah.
being protected.
That's a plus,
Yeah,
definitely,
that definitely is.
positive side.
But let's just table it and then give it some thought. We'll try to come back with some other options. We're gonna be very
Yeah.
limited,
Only one or two at the most.
but I'll give you what I have,
I
and,
wonder too about how hard we can lean on the county, given Mike Larson's deal.
Yeah.
I had asked the county, kind of, like, maybe if between emergency management, I actually thought $90,000 was pretty good. I worked pretty hard on that, you know?
Well, and it is.
That's great.
You know?
Yeah.
And, you know, with the insurance company, when Chris approached them, we were disappointed. Well, we've never done this before. Well,
Kiss of death.
right. And I get to a point where I don't think we should be funding stuff with grants, you know? And then I look at this going, all right, what else? To me, MDOT should be the biggest.
I was gonna say, isn't
Yeah,
that a
and-
state highway or
yeah.
a federal highway?
Yeah, and that's.
Everybody
my
should be
feeling.
kicking in.
And-
MDOT just loves to give us stuff to
And-
do.
Right, and that's the thing, but usually, we don't get any help from anybody out there. MDOT has been really good about the trailer and equipping the trailer. We asked them, we even went to a private company who did the bridges, hey, how about giving us a truck? We literally asked them.
Yeah, they're all over the place.
Yeah.
They're just
They laughed
sitting
at
there. They laugh?
Yeah,
What's that
And
one place?
I even looked into give them a break safety to see if we could even just lease a truck like this, but they only lease the trailers that aren't rated for, 70 miles an hour, they don't lease the trucks.
and MDOT had just the trailers, and I said, well, that's not gonna, how do I justify putting something rated for 55 miles per hour on the highway? I'd rather not have it. So we'll continue to use the tankers, and we'll come back in January and try to have some other ideas. Fair enough?
Yeah.
Sounds good.
If the tanker gets hit, we need new tankers anyway, so.
Well, we're trying to avoid that expense.
But,
You gotta go,
Oh.
right.
oh,
Thanks.
yeah, you're way late.
Yeah, sorry about
No,
that.
that's right.
All right, so I'll take a motion to table this.
I'll make a motion to table, what am I tabling exactly?
Funding approval.
Funding request for the TMA.
Yeah.
Funding for the TMA.
I'll support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries unanimously. We're tabled, that means this has to come up in the next meeting. All right, moving on to Heart Safe Community Designation.
I'm gonna send this to Chris since he was assigned,
So essentially, a Heart Safe Community, this is something Holland recently went through, and so that was who I was learning from. It's the 13 different elements that we would need to meet, which most of we already are currently doing by our AED programs, our CPR classes, partnering with the municipalities to put AEDs out, like Douglas just put out 10 of them throughout their community in the outdoor cabinets. It's just a designation that kind of honors the tri-communities for all of the work they have done to make themselves heart safe. So I think it's a pretty cool program and recognition that just takes a little time to finish the application process. Initially, the township, I believe, was actually going to do this on their own, that it was Becky Israel's working with Tony Shippa to do it. And then Tony brought up the idea, well, why don't we just do it through the fire district instead, so we can include all the community stakeholders rather than just the township by itself, and we kind of agreed.
So what's the process?
Basically, it's a 13-page application process where you just submit and show how you're meeting these different steps, and then it's a continual thing too, that you have to on an annual basis, train a minimum of 15% of your population in CPR. And that can be something as simple as having a table at Venetian Festival where you're doing a 3-minute thing of people learning CPR very quickly. Is enough to
That
meet
might
that
not be the
requirement.
best night for that.
No,
Well, they might need it.
Right.
Yeah, there you go.
It's true, drunken CPR. Yeah, whether it's 4th of July, Venetian, any of those special events, sidewalk sale, we can set up a table at and meet some of these requirements. And Tony is basically willing to do most of that type of legwork and the teaching and whatnot as a CPR trained volunteer. But we would just be the ones kind of carrying the ball and supporting the program.
Excellent.
Okay, all set. Moving on to C, schedule meetings, it's on page...
Do we have to do a motion?
Yeah, I think we need a motion to
Oh,
approve
sorry.
moving forward with the program. There's a sample one on the bottom of the screen.
Go ahead.
I'll do it. I move to approve the Saugatuck Township Fire District staff moving forward with completing the necessary steps to achieve Heart-Safe community designation for the Saugatuck Township Fire District coverage area.
I'll support.
Okay. We have a motion by North and support by Aldrich. Is there any more discussion? Okay, all those in favor, please say yes.
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 Opposed?
That's a roll call.
Motion.
Yeah, I don't think it had to be a roll call. That was just an accident on my part.
Okay.
Doesn't involve money, does it?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, all right.
Moving on to scheduled meetings, they're on page 20. I need a motion to approve the schedule of meetings for 2024.
I'll make a motion to approve the schedule of meetings for 2024.
I'll second that.
Okay, a motion by Beckman, second by Pullen to approve the schedule of meetings. All those in favor, please say yes, or is there...
I think this one's supposed to be a roll call for some reason. I don't know why, but
It involves money.
Oh, yeah.
Not every single one of them.
Huge dollars. Okay, is there any discussion? I'm sorry. Okay, roll call vote, please.
just a minute. Beckman,
Yes.
Pullen,
Yes.
Aldrich,
Yes.
Verplank,
Yes.
and North.
Yes.
Okay, we got a meeting schedule. We have a thank you from Douglas Elementary's early childhood.
Up on the screen, yeah.
Cute.
And Linda Brady.
Yes, these are 6th graders. This is very nice to receive this. And great program. Is there any public comment?
Nothing.
Oh,
Hi.
hi.
My name's Logan White, citizen on Spear Street. Was recently elected to Saugatuck City Council. I just wanted to come by and say hello. I was on site last week. Chief Janet gave me, and the other newly elected councilperson, Holly Anderson, quite a nice tour. Spoke to us a little bit about what's going on with the fire department and whatnot. I was very interested to learn about that. Really appreciate the work that you guys do. Just a funny aside, kind of and I had mentioned this briefly to Chief Janik, the Halloween parade was the first time I had kind of checked in with what was happening on council very specifically, was the night there was a bit of a tiff around the fire department budget and everything a few years ago, and I felt like that could have gone better from city council side, so I'm here to just try to help things go a little bit more smoothly and make sure you know my face, and tell you that if there's any, I'm learning still how we can work together and how the city can support, but hoping to just make that bridge a little bit easier to cross and introduce myself a little bit, so, yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Logan.
Thank you, Logan.
Thank you. We're gonna keep that seat here for you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good to hear that the city's willing to work with us and mend that gap that's been going on. Anybody else? Fire board comments, Stacy?
Curious, is there any talk of a appreciation dinner this year? Because I'm planning vacations and.
Well, I see where
It's all about you. It is, yeah.
I think we have a tentative date in March at the facility right here.
Yeah, I want to say February 14th.
Ooh, goody, I'll be there. If we're invited again, I don't know.
That's
Valentine's Day.
Sorry, it was a Saturday, so maybe it's somewhere, it's February 10th, Saturday,
Well,
February
I'm
10th.
coming home the 9th, there you go.
See, I had it in March, so.
At least that was the date we booked with the Ivy House across the street.
Ooh.
Nice.
Wow.
Saturday the 10th.
Okay, let's be a little more careful about the +1 this year.
What does that mean?
+1 got a little out of control last year.
Oh, I won't bring Mike.
You didn't bring a +1.
It's the +5 that.
Oh, okay, all right, I won't bring all my, well, I won't even.
No, Logan, thank you for coming. In my 16 years on this board, very rarely does anyone show up and for you to show your initiative to understanding, no, seriously, what goes on here. The TIF the last couple of years is kind of ridiculous. It was horrible communication on everyone's part, so thank you. And now we got the city of Douglas mayor on board too, so we'll get you all on board.
Madam Mayor.
Yeah, Madam Mayor.
Yeah, so if you guys aren't doing anything in about an hour and a half, you can roll on over to Douglas to hang out for board meetings.
That's okay.
Is the Blue Star Highway on the docket? I'll come and complain about that.
The bike trail is there.
Logan, I appreciate you so much, and Holly, when they took the time, scheduled to come and tour the station. We love doing that and learn what we have and just see the facility. And they were right there, enthusiasm, sincerity. We appreciate that. Firefighters see this and they hear this, and I'm very grateful. Thank you.
And Kathy?
Guys, Merry Christmas to everybody.
Yeah? Merry Christmas. Thank you.
No, other than happy holidays, Merry Christmas, all that. I'm glad we're working on this PMA thing and taking it a little bit slower.
The traffic control thing that we were talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes. Merry Christmas to everybody, and thank you for coming, Logan. I appreciate the fact that you're trying to mend fences. That's a big plus in my book. And, geez, stick around for a year. All right, can I have a motion to adjourn?
And we're taking applications.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you don't have anything to do. You're going to fight a few fights.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All right, motion by Poland, second by North. All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.